Okay. And the other thing I gotta do is restart, because what happens is, you'll see, the screen is not live until I reload. Anyway, how you guys doing?
Good, good.
Okay. Wow.
Sorry.
Because what happens is, you gotta mute
Yeah,
your.
I'm
Yeah, you
joining
mute.
that.
Like I gotta do this too. I mute the website itself because you'll get like a delayed response.
Yeah.
So the building is DCL core.
Yeah, it's called DCL. The DCLcoreradio.com/go-to, and then you can just, that's my domain name for the location.
Oh, I'm here too. I see the people.
So we are going to launch on the DCL, right?
Yeah, it should be. You see
This
that the URL there. I mean, the position is 56 -22 or -23. If that helps. What I did there with the domain was just like make a domain that was easier for people to just click on. So that DCLcoreradio.com/go-to is just it was an idea that Stencil had come to me with, and he said, hey, I made a URL for mine. You should do the same. I said, man, that's a really cool idea. So we had to do it.
I think this is a good idea. I think maybe we can try in Dragon City too.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I think it's a really really cool idea about just being able to write something out and just like how do you explain it, like if you had DragonCity.com, and then all the different locations. I know you guys got 6,000 parcels or something like that.
Yeah.
But it would be like DragonCity.com / let's say temple or whatever, arena or what, I don't 100% know what all the different things you're gonna have there, but that would be ideal, I think. I'm gonna bring my guy upstairs just because it's like Inception, like looking at the screen and the screen inside the screen.
Oh, we have a link posted in the Meta channel, right?
In the in what channel?
Oh, in the WeChat.
The group.
In the WeChat?
Yeah.
That's definitely one of the things I wanted to touch on too. Was so you guys got me going into the WeChat and in the WeChat chat rooms, and I really appreciate you guys reaching out to me that way, because it's been a something that has been like a good resource that I think that many people in DCL can benefit from, because you can type in English and you guys can read in Chinese and vice versa, and it's a really fast way of communicating. Will from the Metal Zone, he had asked not that long ago. He's like, hey, how do you translate? I've been translating Google Translate, and I'm telling them, like, you can just right click, on any of the Chinese writing in it, and it translates it almost immediately to English.
Yeah.
So it's super helpful, And it makes it so I can be a part of any kind of conversation, that you guys are having, or vice versa. So it makes things very comfortable,
It is so fast to communicate.
Yeah. So
Jay, you can help post the link in another, this
channel. Okay.
Another
WeChat channel.
Another Chinese community.
Okay.
Oh, you have a different channel as well?
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah, there are different groups in China.
Yeah.
Discuss center.
Awesome. So yeah, this is my radio station. Last time we did it in the casino. I figured we'd come to the, this is where I do most of my interviews here, in Decentraland, and yeah, it's definitely a little space, a little I enjoy it here. Something I noticed just a minute ago, they did a little update, and one thing you can do, you can hit the button U, and it takes away your interface. You see it? It takes away the map in the chat, and then also if you look at you see this right here. the reflection of the clouds. They took away the random building that was used to be the reflection, and now it's the clouds, which is I think it's pretty cool.
Wow.
Oh.
Yeah.
I can't see you guys because I entered the DCL, but I see nobody here.
Are you where are you at? Are you downstairs? We're on the roof. Let me see. Come down here. I don't know.
I think we are in the different. So I think this is the view. I can't see you guys because maybe we are in the different server.
Different server, yeah. I'm in Friendlier Amber.
Yeah.
I
don't know why I can't see you, Jie.
Can you see the screen?
Yeah, I can see your screen, but I can't see you in the Decentraland itself. I mean before the screen.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm here with G, and is this you? This is not you? Cora?
Oh no, Cora is not me.
Okay. You never know. You know, you just never know what name is everybody's gonna choose. You know.
Okay. My name just like I had no name with this address, attached this address, so my name is Guest.
Oh, it's Guest. How are you barefoot? Or is that those flip flops? G? You got flip flops?
Yeah.
Yeah. In Spanish, we call them chancletas. You got the chancletas going.
Okay. Cool.
All right. Cool. So yeah, I just wanted to kind of catch up with you guys. Last time we spoke, it was just a really good conversation, and I wanted to make sure that we keep touching base because I think it's a very important relationship between us, between different parts of the world, and then to be able to understand what we're both trying to do with Decentraland and be able to work together. Me and G were talking a little bit earlier about that me and HP work together a lot, and he's in France, and having people in different parts of the world that you're working with, to me, is super important, and also your relationship with them, like not necessarily just your business relationship, but just a friendly relationship. That's what's gonna move this thing forward. Nobody wants to work together with people they don't like. So
yeah, agree.
And I've been communicating with you guys in WeChat, and it was another thing I kind of wanted to reiterate to the people that that WeChat is a very important tool, and if people have the ability to get on there, it's a great way to communicate with the Chinese community in a very fast fashion, because everything gets translated pretty quickly, so you can be in on a conversation. You see me in there. I drop in there. I say this and that, whatever I can. And one of the other things I've been doing lately, Roy, you can be, how this is. I'm in your inbox like 3 times a week at least, just telling you about any information that I know, and because I want you guys to be completely up to date with whatever is going on, in whatever in whatever fashion. Like I had reached out about the wearables. It's like, hey, the wearables licenses are going out. I'd love to see you guys get involved with that, and so we can have some sort of like representation from the Chinese culture in the wearables conversation. Now on that angle, do you guys see yourselves making some sort of wearable, and if so, what kind of thing were you thinking?
We have a proposal right now, so we explain what we want for the license and how we want to make the wearable related to Chinese culture. And we are going to thinking about how many wearables we should have for a year and when we should publish this wearable. So we are thinking like we can use this wearable to celebrate the traditional Chinese festival, and I think it is a good idea and good time to release some in Spring Festival or the maybe meet something like the traditional festival.
Yeah, I think it would be great to have, just that whole flavor in there, something that was, is unique to Chinese culture. And I think it would open up people's eyes. It's one of those things that's nonverbal, or it's not like something that's written down. You see it and you would be like, yeah, you know that now the Chinese culture is here,
Yes.
And I think that's something very important when it comes to as we build this world. We're going to be, I expect us to be very international and mixing the cultures, so it would be great to have that, and in general just have the opportunity to kind of share in that way. I'm gonna head to the roof here because I just feel like looking at the screen is weird for me. Since I already have you guys here, but so yeah, that's one of the thoughts I had. Like I said, I reached out to Roy as soon as I found out that those were going to be a thing, and I was like, you guys, should have a proposal, because again, you're essentially the representatives so far for the Chinese community. Now, a question I had is, working with, I don't know, is it 6,000 parcels?
Yeah, over this.
Something, give or take, or whatever. Working with that many parcels, what are the biggest challenges you guys are having right now?
I think the biggest challenge is just like how to build a community with just like all the building telling a story. So we don't want to just like to build just like some parts without link each other, and because this community is Nanjing City, and so it's related to Chinese culture. So basically, we base on the Chinese culture and combine with the crypto culture and to tell a story.
Yeah, it's
to
true.
tell people, to tell the people what we can do in the virtual world.
Right. So you don't want to just build anything random. You want to put like an actual things that make sense together.
Yeah.
It makes sense.
It means we will have a general design for the whole Jurgen city.
Yeah.
And every part had its own meaning, but just like they link each other and they combine each other to tell a story. Tell just like we name a word just like a mathematic word. So mathematic world is a virtual world, different to the just like reality.
Yeah.
And mathematic just like mathematic, it means like beyond viewing. We hope we can build a world is decentralized and is for everyone to join. So basically, this is a war is different to the reality society, but they connect each other in some ways.
That's actually a really cool concept. Using mathematics essentially to differentiate the world in here from the world in reality, and then. Yeah, I can see that. Question, is it hard for people from China to access Decentraland?
Sometimes I see some people, it is really slow, the connection is too slow, and then need to wait a lot from one location to another.
Because I was noticing a lot of people saying that they were getting like dizziness.
Yeah. I feel this too. I don't know.
Really?
Yeah, when I pray and I feel this, and they said they feel this too. So
yeah, and I haven't experienced that myself, and I had reached out to HP, and I was like, well, I'm getting a lot of reports of people, saying they've been dizzy when they go in there, and so he thinks it's more of like the frame rates and something like that. But whatever it may be, I'd love it to hopefully that not to be a thing at some point, into the future, to be able to have more people access,
Yeah, I think one of the mission of the Dragon City is like to promote the Decentraland in China, let more people to know about this project. Decentraland, I think, is the #1 blockchain game. I think in the space. So I think it is good to bring the Decentraland into Chinese community. In fact, not many people in China knew about the Decentraland even.
Yeah, and that'd be, obviously it's a lot of people, first of all, and a lot of people who I feel that the interest would be there, if you were able to just get them to kind of show up. Now, we have the Matic, I don't know if it's called mini game contest or whatever it is, but there's a Matic game creator contest type thing going on. Do you guys see yourselves being involved with that and trying to make mini games, or are you more interested in having just building your large world and having it less be about gaming and more be about culture?
I think half and half. I think for game like this, for people who have entertainment, they want to play DCL, so they want to go inside the world to play game. But also, I think the culture is also important too. Maybe the culture element can inside a game, so when people play in a game, so they can know this is about which culture, and then they can learn something through a game. I think this is important too. Not only play game, but we can learn something from when we play a game. So I think.
Yeah. I feel the same way. Like, I think there's big room for games, but like at the same time, I don't think everything needs to be games. Like I would, me and Will have this conversation often. Like I never plan on making a game like that, and I could be, in a week, I could come up with a game idea and just go with it, But as I stand right now, I enjoy what I'm doing here as far as interviews like this, spending time in the building and making the building kind of a place where people can come to get information, Now, I think that some projects are going to be important, like Ethermon. Like we talk about Ethermon quite a bit, and I think that that's going to be a very important project because it's going to make it so people want to stick around for a little while and have something to do here, and I think that that's important. Now, on the side of Ethermon, do you guys well, how far are we out? I believe it's coming soon, yeah.
Yeah, they say coming soon.
And like soon, in a couple of days, yeah.
Where is it?
What's this?
Do you mean the launch of the Dragon City?
No, Ethermon.
Ethermon.
Yeah.
Okay. I think today or tomorrow. I think.
Yeah. Right. Now I have noticed like a lot of at least in the WeChat from what I can see, it's been a lot of like anticipation and people really looking forward to it. In your other chats, are you seeing the same thing?
Yeah, we see the same thing. I think the Chinese community is interested in the Ethermon, so I think many of them bought some bags.
Yeah, I think it'd be good just to kind of again to keep people around for a little while, give them something to do. I had interviewed the guys from Wonder Zone the other day, the guys from the amusement park district, and they had made a game called I'm the worst with the names, man. Wonder, it's like Wonder Zone or something like that. I'm the worst. Like I said, I'm terrible, but it's a mining game basically. And so what happens is there's like a meteor shower, and then the meteor falls and you mine it with a pickaxe, and it gives you some sort of reward, and then you can build on the reward, and one of these kind of games that you're just trying to collect things and then upgrade your items, and they're making a wearable as well that at the end of it would be your big prize. I think these are things that are important, to helping people want to just have something to do when they come here. A lot of people ask, how do I play Decentraland? And I say, well, you don't really play it, because it's many different things, but it's important to give people something to do while they're here. So I could see gaming being a thing that's more important than I'm giving maybe more credit to.
Yeah, I think another good idea is to host exhibition in Decentraland to like maybe art exhibition and then product exhibition. So maybe even conference on Decentraland if we can have the audio communication between people and people. So we can have a place to talk about. Maybe people can have a poster on there so they can explain what they are thinking, what they are research on Decentraland, and then I think it's cool to see these things happening on this space.
It's true, yeah.
Like also,
if you had a place where you can post your ideas back and forth in Decentraland, because it would be on the blockchain, it wouldn't be able to be taken away, and, from anybody. So, and again, I think that's one of the most powerful things that we have is the fact that nothing's going to be taken down. I talk about it on my shows all the time. Like, ain't nobody taking my stuff down. If I decide I want to go live, if I want to say cuss words, if I want to, talk bad, it doesn't matter. I mean, it does. I'm not going to get as many people to want to listen to me anymore. But at the same time, I can do anything I want because I own this. I own my stream, I own my land, I own everything that I got going on here, and it's on a blockchain, so it's not really going to be erased. That being said, you should probably think on the side of like using that for good. Just being somebody who talks shit is not going to be very helpful to society in general. Now on the side of art, because you mentioned art, and we have the Soho Plaza is going to be released this weekend. And that's going to be the NFT art kind of focus of Decentraland. And I've got a couple live streams that I'm going to be doing this weekend, I believe, with a few artists. My question is, now I know, Roy, I'd kind of asked you about this recently. Do you guys know many Chinese crypto artists? Or of them, I should say?
Not much.
Not many, huh? I would love to see that as a thing. And even with me, I come from like street culture in America, and I've been trying to get like my street artists and friends to do graffiti and stuff like that. And I'm like, yo, y'all gotta come in here and do some art, man. Like, because people are doing really well financially, and it's kind of like, in my eyes, it's kind of the future of where collectible art is gonna go now. I mean, yes, you're gonna have your physical copies and stuff like that, but having digital art that's how do I explain it, that stays and is verifiable is going to be very important, I think, into the future.
Yeah, I think the blockchain is many schools start to go into research the blockchain art school. I went to the School of Art Institute of Chicago, so they have course teaching the student how to use blockchain to make art, and then how they can maybe they have something research like that, but I'm not sure what is that they're doing. So they have, so I think this is good to know.
Yeah, that's great. I mean, I didn't even think about that, teaching it in school.
Teaching blockchain school in art school in Chicago.
Yeah, in the art school with that. Yeah, that's. I mean, honestly, that's a great move forward for any school, really, because as we go more digital as a society, keeping things digitally that are like art pieces that just like, if you think about it, if it was just like any digital picture, let's say, then you would have like it could go away at any moment, but on the blockchain it stays. It stays in your wallet. It's there forever, basically. And
it's easy to share. Yeah,
exactly. And so you know, whereas opposed to like, let's say you posted something in WeChat, you posted something on Facebook or Twitter, you know, an art piece when, you know, before blockchain, and you know, it kind of just goes by the way, you know, like, okay, you know, I saw that, but it went away. But now you have something in your wallet that says, you know, this scenario happened, and it really feels like being able to capture history, you know, with NFT art and NFT things, you know, in general.
And I also think like collect art is important, but how we making art important too. So with blockchain, we are thinking about we can have more way to making art. Maybe we can have more people to controlling an artwork. Like I own different piece, and then I can, when I have this piece, and I can affect the maybe this painting. So I own a part of painting, and I can change some of them to affect the main piece of work. So I think it is interesting too. So not have one, not only the artist can make art, but all the people can make art in blockchain.
Yeah, it's true. Now, what do you guys think about 3D digital art? Like, not that this is an art piece that we're looking at, but you know, you know, something like this. Let's say I made my globe an NFT, and I called it art. You know, I'm not gonna do that. I'm selling my globe as an item in the meta zone, but you know, something that may be a little bit more artistic than that. How do you guys feel about that being a culture? And I think it's something that hasn't been really tapped at all.
Frankie, I think it is interesting to discuss about the crypto art. And so, for example, in China, not many people know about what is the crypto art. And we had contact some students from the high level university in China.
Yeah.
And the university is specific for the artists, and they say they don't know the blockchain. I call him whether he is willing to build some art on the blockchain. He say I will consider, but I don't know how the IP, just like to protect the IP of mine. And so I think there's a lot of question for them. At the same time, I think this is the question is also even when we look at the crypto art, what is that? So where's the value come from? Just like you mentioned before, yeah. And so I think we should find out what's the essential point of the crypto art. Crypto art means a decentral art, or in other words, is better. I don't know. It's like, what's the?
I feel that it tells a story. You can verify when it happened. You know.
Yeah.
So you know, you have like almost like a timestamp. You know, so you're like, okay, you know, this is crypto art from this time. You know, these are crypto collectible from this time period. Like, it's very verifiable. And I think that that's pretty much, to me, the most value. I talk about it a lot with wearables and different NFTs from different games. It's like, it's telling a history, you know, and today it might look like almost nothing, but in, you know, the later days, it would be literally telling the history of how we got here, you know? So to me, that's the biggest value. I don't know that everybody else sees it that way, but I feel that, you know, that's the way I look at it. I look at it like, you know, like these things are telling a specific story that is like burned into the blockchain, literally, you know?
Yeah. So Frankie, just like in your opinion, how about the development in just like in other countries like USA or in UK about the crypto art?
Well, you know, I know we have a nice culture. Like I said, I'm going to be talking to a few people this weekend about the release of the Soho project, the whole Soho Plaza. And
Yeah.
I've been trying to reach out to a lot of different crypto artists in general. And, I think now it's in its infancy, like it's in its baby stages. And, we have some artists that are working in it. But I think that as you go along and you have more and more creative people, it could go so many different ways. I had interviewed Misha as an artist. He was like he wasn't necessarily a crypto artist. He was an artist, and he had made these they're like, and it wasn't him. It was another artist that was pretty big. He had made these this machine that it had like pictures, and on the picture it had like a some sort of strip, and as when you played it through the machine, it gave it a sound. And man, I have the worst memory, but one of the guys I know that I believe Talk Sam was involved with it, and I think Seb. But basically, they had made a version in Decentraland of that, of that artwork that this guy had made in the physical, and then they made it in the 3D. I think also one of the things we can see coming in the future would be like you would be able to mimic or have a representation of something that is in a museum that you could never access. Let's say ancient human history, and then you would be able to display that somewhere that you would never be able to do outside of something like this. There's like a lot of like places like that the museum doesn't display all the artwork all year long, so they have it a lot of times put away somewhere, and nobody gets to look at it. So in a space like this, you might be able to not only display it often, but have it changed so where that you can see the stuff that they have put away. You can see stuff, and you never really have to put it away for so long. It could be deployed on the blockchain or in Decentraland even, and you could even, let's say, change, because something that's really easy to do in Decentraland is change your build. Like for instance, I could change this in 20 minutes to a completely different build. So if you were to apply that to, let's say, a museum, you'd be able to almost on a click, and I mean not even almost, definitely on a click, just change it to a different part of the museum. And something I've been thinking about, not necessarily with museums, but just with changing the 3D models on a click, or because some sort of variable factor that is, let's say I'm wearing this shirt, anybody wearing this shirt sees this, but then I'm wearing a different shirt, and then you see a whole different thing. This is all stuff that's possible if you know the coding. I mean, I'm not a wizard with the coding, but I understand what can be done. So I think there's a lot of options in the future. But as far as the culture today, there's quite a bit of artists that are interested in it, and that they do a lot with it. And that's why I encourage other artists that I just know from regular life. I would message them or something. I'll say, hey guys, like, you got to get into this. This is a thing.
Yes.
So do you think every artist should join the crypto art? It's like, do you think all of the artwork can perform on the blockchain? It means just like in China, some artwork in China is really depends, just like why it has value, because of you can touch it, and you can see the quality, you can see how the artist paint, and especially for the Chinese, I think we have some kind of art named I think it's a Chinese painting, because they use the very special ink, and also you have you can touch the surface of the drawing. You can feel it because you have the quality there.
Absolutely.
So I think it is challenging for them to put them on the blockchain to make it into a NFT. So I think now the NFT is still just like in very early stage because you cannot put every artwork
True.
into the NFT.
Yeah. For instance,
Something like
I'm sorry.
yeah, it's okay. And it's a 3D artwork and also some just like um you only can just like go to the reality, go to the line to see the beauty of the artwork itself. So I think it is important for us to explore the possibility how to present the more, I mean, the more kinds of the artwork.
That's true.
Since like it's still facing the technology,
Yeah, I think that physical art is still going to be a thing. It's not like it's going to be erased, but because like my father paints, and I couldn't imagine him having one of his paintings. But as you were saying that, I was thinking like, I don't think that his paintings would necessarily translate to the blockchain, but the artistic mind doesn't, that doesn't change. Kind of artistic mind. If you give them the tools, they'll figure something out. And that's the way I look at it. I look at it like if you take an artist. When I spoke to Misha, the concepts he was coming with were so advanced because he's an artistic mind. So he already looked at the tools available and was like, "What about this? What about that?" And I was like, "Wow, those are great ideas." So I think that even though you might have the physical art maybe doesn't translate today. Again, a canvas, watercolors, things like that, oil painting, the thickness, all this stuff is not going to be able to just go onto the blockchain. But that same artist, and if he understood the tools in front of him, would be able to digitally make something so creative because he's already thinks like that. He thinks in, this different world,
Yeah, so another challenge for us is just like how to just like to let the artist to use the tool itself. I think most of them they don't have the programming the background. So I think for now it is important to build a tool for them to create their own artwork very easily.
Yeah, true. I think that as time goes along, you would have people becoming more familiar. Like for instance, now my little brother, he's 15, and he paints. So I tell him, keep doing what you're doing. I'm not gonna, get on him too much about doing crypto art, but maybe I buy him a computer at some point. I say, hey, here's all the tools you need. Go crazy, And then a year or two down the road, he's coming up with things because he has the tools now, and he was able to just explore. I really think that eventually you would have a whole culture of people that would, because with anything, like for me, I didn't know any of this stuff. I didn't know how to do anything that you see in front of you, 6, maybe 10 months ago. Completely just had no clue how to do any of it. And then as time went along, because I wanted to do it, it got done, Not that I did everything at all, because I had a lot of help from KJ Walker. I had a lot of help from H. Pavakos and stuff like that. But definitely was possible because I wanted to get it done.
Yeah. I see many others start to learning coding right now. As I know, I see many people graduate from art school, and then some of them even go to MIT to continue their study. And they can code, they learn engineering, and even some others with engineering background, they have engineering background or computer science background, and then go to master degree for an art school. So I think many people are going to do that. I think this is good to see this art and science connection.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, that's going to be important. Is I think coding would be almost like a second language to most people. Coming up into the future. So like today, it might be something that's less known, like you don't know how to code, just like because but in the future, I think coding will be more like knowing about video games. Like when I'm growing up, right? I'm 37, right?
Yes.
So when I was growing up, see, I had some people that knew about video games and spoke that language, let's say, right? But not as many. It wasn't like the majority of society. I think into the future be the same idea for coding. So like, now you have people like that know how to code. They teach it in school too now. Like in younger level school. But I think as we go along, coding is just going to be like a language that people speak, almost like slang. Just like you just know that, and you wouldn't even think about not knowing it. But it would take maybe a generation before you really see like the same thing with, like I said, with video games. It's like video games is so part of the culture now in human society, but in the 80s, it wasn't. It was a fringe topic. So these things can change very, very quickly, a lot more quickly than you would think. And I think given that kind of knowledge for the average person, then you're gonna get people that want to get super creative with it.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah.
And that's where I think a place like Decentraland comes into play. Because now you can exercise it. In just active way. Like, okay, now I know how to do this thing, and then you have this platform that you can just be creative with it and just do it on the platform.
Yeah. So Frankie, which
Yes.
platform do you like? I mean, currently, to make an artwork. Do you think is the market? I mean, in the market, there's another enough good platform to just like to create the artwork now?
I'm sorry, you said which platform do I like?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, it just depends on what you're trying to do. I think there's, that you can go to Maker's Place and you can put your stuff up there and mint base, and they'll mint the NFT for you. I don't know if we've really kind of gotten deep into what I'm talking about, like 3D artwork, and I don't even know if there's a place for that just yet. But I think Decentraland would be, I guess, the place to do that in, because. But then again, that's for low poly. If you want to do something that was higher poly or higher resolution, it would have to be a different platform that wasn't something you can probably just walk around so easily. Because if you're going to do something with higher resolution, it would have to be almost. It would be very difficult to do in a place like this. But it might be just as appealing to the eye. Maybe then in the future there's a platform that you just have like super high resolution things, so you can just go take a look at people's 3D artwork. We're so scratching the surface with this idea of even 3D artwork that I don't know if there's one place to go right now that we're kind of building the idea itself.
Yeah. So you mentioned the Decentraland artwork, and I think it's good to discuss the potential of the Decentraland, how Decentraland can revolutionize the artwork.
Definitely.
So do you see Decentraland is a good place? I think
Absolutely.
it's a
I
good
think
place.
I think that people are going to start. I've been trying to encourage certain artists that are crypto artists already to try out making some of their artwork in 3D, maybe working with some of the artists that are 3D artists from Decentraland that already have kind of the skill and the know-how, and kind of coming together and making art pieces. Like, imagine a whole, like, let's say you got Maker's Place, right, or Mint Base, or one of these platforms that they sell NFTs, right? And let's say now you made a whole new category of essentially like a 3D artwork scene that you would just be able to buy from there and put it up on your land, or like MetaZone. MetaZone is a good example. But if they had, specifically, they're going to be integrating NFTs eventually. So, let's say we're in the future now, and you can get NFTs on MetaZone, and now you know, you would go and buy a couple of different art pieces that are just scenes for your land, but they have movement and they have an idea, it tells that story, like you guys are talking about with Dragon City. Whereas like you can just deploy this art piece to your land, and it's saying something to you, you know, and then you keep it as, you know, and you might want to, like I said, deploy this at one time, and then, you know, and then maybe change it, you know, and it becomes like a culture of people like wanting to display a 3D artwork that they got or that they made, you know. I think it's a market that we literally don't have yet, but it could be something pretty great, you know.
Yeah, I think also interactive art is also interesting too.
Yes.
Like not only a game, but we can have a art can interact with it. But we need to think how to interact and how to make people interested on how the interactive valuable.
Yeah, it's true. Because that's a whole nother level, you know,
Yeah.
of saying like, okay, now this is an art piece, it's in 3D, and now you would interact with the art piece, and that's what makes it art. You know,
Yeah.
that's what makes it creative. Is, you know, the way you, and it's very similar to that sound thing I was talking about earlier, where you had like the different sounds and they were correlated to a picture.
Yeah.
You know, it was a example, I think, of something that could be even bigger than you know, something bigger than we know now, you know. So I think that those things are all options that we should explore, you know, and people should be creative and how do you call it, like take that risk, you know, because it's going to be the brave people that take these risks that, you know, that really become the trailblazers to that new, is a whole new element, you know, to Decentraland or just 3D stuff in general, 3D blockchain things. Yeah, we haven't even scratched the surface when it comes to this stuff, you know. So with that being said, what do you guys see Decentraland going into the future? Like, do you see it mainly like being art, or do you think it's going to be a place people can do business? You know, because I love the business aspect of working in Decentraland. Like, I think there's a lot of opportunity there. And I'm not sure how you guys feel about that, about, you know, events and things like that.
Yeah, I think Decentraland is a very special project, and it is not only a game. I think it is a society, a virtual society, society network, social network. It can be social network.
Yeah.
That had the potential. I mean, Decentraland had this potential, and because when we look at the Bitcoin, why the Bitcoin is so strong? Because of Bitcoin has an incentive system, and it means Bitcoin itself is economics. So I see Decentraland as the same, had the same features.
Yeah,
And
I'm sorry.
yes, yeah, it's okay. And what was I saying?
I'll just you know, that I feel, I've said this before, that like Decentraland has a lot of the same qualities as Bitcoin, in the sense that it's decentralized. So as metaverses go, that it kind of plays the role of Bitcoin, let's say, you know, with that eventually no one will really own Decentraland on their own, you know, and you would hope that it's decentralized to a point that there's not one big influence, you know. Same as the miners, like, you know, other projects are good, not that they're bad, but they would be, you know, one guy kind of runs it, or one small team runs it, you know, whereas our team is looking to back away soon, you know, and then after that it's going to be more like you have Bitcoin Core, like the people who are the developers, you know, but they don't make every decision anymore, you know. It's not like that, you know. They've decentralized to a point that, you know, the miners are essentially, you know, a big part of it, and, you know, the community itself, they have, you know, their own discussions. I think that we would have that same aspect.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, I think that the problem you mentioned in Bitcoin, I think also is it seems like a mirror of the human society. And how we use the technology to deal with something like Bitcoin. And I think technology is neutral, but the humans' desiration and humans' the ambition are different.
Right.
Yeah. So that's why the mining pool or the miner have a big say on the Bitcoin ecosystem.
Right. Like we had a conversation the other day in I think it was in the general chat about the DAO and the implementation of the DAO, and it's like you know I don't think that the DAO changes, like it's not like autonomous decision making. It's just an autonomous network. So you know it's still human decision making, just maybe on the side of execution of it happens more efficiently, but it's still humans making the decisions, you know? Like you're saying,
So
you're just using the technology.
So you don't agree with the DAO model, right? So it's like DAO is not a good thing.
Well, no, not to say that DAO's not a good thing. It's just it's going to be humans making the decisions, even if it's a DAO. You know.
Okay.
So you know, I don't really, because I wouldn't want to take the decision making away from humans. You know, you still want humans to make. I mean, because at what point are you going to let the machine make the decisions? You know. And so I think that the voting structure should still be there, but just you know, it is a little bit more efficient if we have like kind of plain rules as opposed to like, you know, I was talking to my mom yesterday about lobbyists. You know, lobbyists in this world are the most dangerous things. You know, just somebody who is spending money on trying to get you to decide something. You know, and so I think that you know, having some sort of element of you take that away from the picture, you take that completely out of the picture. It doesn't fix everything at all. People are still corrupt. You know, one of the jokes I make is like, you can't put 5 people together and like $1,000. Not everybody gets 200. You know what I'm saying? Like it's gonna be one guy making 40. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So just like in one of the imagination, maybe one day the AI control the mining pool. So maybe the AI will control the Bitcoin, and we don't know.
That's crazy. I mean, because you know what that feels like is I don't know if you've seen the movie The Singularity, but it's like where the guy like, you know, eventually the AI controlled everything. You know, and
I mean,
it's a little scary at that point because then it's like super powerful. It's too powerful.
Yeah, I think in the future maybe the AI is so powerful they just like if AI can make a cryptocurrency and it can use their cryptocurrency to buy the machine to mine the Bitcoin maybe, and maybe because they are smart and they work really harder than a human being, and they will control the mining phone and control everything.
Yeah, I mean, it's a crazy thought. It's a scary thought to me, you know, of just having AI control too much. You know, it's like you give it too much power, and then maybe it decides that, you know, we're not efficient, and then what happens? You know, and that's what happened in the movie that, you know, that I'm talking about. It was like, you know, at some point it was like, well, humans are no good. They're ruining everything, so they get rid of the humans. You know. So I hope that that's not the case, you know. I'd like to stick around.
I think it's the paradox. That's like human have some the bad side. So some people say, oh, we should equate the human decision, let the machine, let the code to make the decision. So code is raw, and so what happens if the AI control the code?
That's what I'm saying.
And there's no human decision there anymore. Yeah, I think it's good to have a deep thought about that.
Right. I mean,
So,
especially before you start to implement said code, you know, if you put that into action, you know, there's really no turning back at that point, you know.
Yeah. So let's back to the question you asked before. So how about the doing some business in Decentraland? I think the economy side is very important for Decentraland. It means Decentraland is not just a game, and it should build some economics system and to let the participate to get the money from them. I mean, is if you can have an incentive system, I think it can attract more people to join.
Right, because
And
if it looks like something, I'm sorry, but if it looks like somewhere you can, make some money, you have more of incentive to join.
yeah, I mean, Decentraland is not just like a place to look at the wonderful things because you visit one time is great, the second time is good, but the third time, oh, I saw it before, you see, and nothing new.
Yeah, yeah,
So if you can use this virtual world to build a relationship between people, and they can trade, they can they can communicate, they can exchange ideas, and also just like the artists can sell their arts on the Decentraland, I
yeah.
think, it would make better if I mean the Decentraland can be a truly the human society, the human virtual society, and compared to the reality, because how the reality society run, because of that, every human is had the economy size. Yeah, we
Yeah,
deal
that's
with
true.
say with other we buy we buy just like the vegetable from the farmer, and that's how we survive in the just like in the reality. So my that's like my suggestion in Decentraland, just like we should build something is is like a mechanism to foster the business side.
Yeah,
Yeah. But for so this is why there's some many people that's like, especially for Chinese, they when they look at the Decentraland, most of them think of, hey, can I make some money from them?
right,
And if
right.
no, I think this is just a game. It's not it's
So
just
that
like
would be
it's
the
not.
breaking point. Then it's like, um, if I can make money and not just like an investment that I think I can get back, but I can make money, then it changes it
Mhm.
from a game to a society, basically.
Yeah, I think in kind of the society, a virtual society. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Now, did you guys get a chance to see? It was a tweet, and I can't remember if it was Alina or if it was Mrs. Black or Miss Black. They had put up a tweet, and it was the light thing. Remember we talked about last time, where you change the lights, and in reality it changes the lights.
Yeah.
But I saw that, and I thought that was another good integration of the technology that we have here, and almost like an example of what can be done. Whereas these things can become a certain kind of business, where you have like let's say a replica of what your stuff looks like in life, you know and it's here in my building, and I got to change the lighting in my building, and then in my house the lighting would change as well. You guys were talking about the doors, maybe you could log in. Let's say in the future, you can log in to Decentraland from your phone, and you could lock your house or unlock your house, or look at the cameras from. It could make this, another a whole another element essentially. Like so you would be able to sell maybe that as more like a thing. How to explain it? Another use case. So people would be able to say I have a virtual land, and in the virtual land I have a replica of my house, let's say, and I can
Oh,
control certain things from over there, and literally see how it is over there.
yeah.
I thought that was
Yeah.
really cool how quickly that kind of came up. you know
Yeah. Yeah, I think that the just like the landowner, to be a landowner is very cool,
Mm-hmm.
because for Chinese we don't own a land actually.
Mm.
Yeah, we just can run it, but you
You
can't
cannot
own
own
it
the land,
because
huh?
of the
Huh.
because of the concept in
I guess
China.
that's something I never thought about, that if you guys can actually own land, because people say that in America you don't really own the land either. I don't
Yeah.
know, but because I don't even own land myself in life, so I don't know. But
Yeah, people.
I've
Yeah.
heard this theory that you don't really own the land, even though they tell you do.
Yeah.
Yeah, in Canada, some people said they need to pay the tax, so they think they don't own the land. So,
Yeah, because if you didn't pay your land taxes, then would they take your land away?
yeah.
And that's
Yeah.
another point that we've kind of brought up in Decentraland before about the
Mm.
dead man ping. You know,
Oh.
whether if somebody didn't, like, it's something they were thinking about voting on is, if
Mm.
somebody doesn't touch their land for a certain amount of time, do you take it away?
Mm.
Do you
Oh yeah.
sell it and put put the mana in that wallet? And then if you do sell it, I mean, what's the what does it look like? Is it an auction? How long is the auction? This
Mm.
kind of thing. So you want to believe that you own it, but the structure for you to own it needs to be there. You know,
Mm.
and also I mean, you got to remember that sadly, I mean, people are gonna die that own land in Decentraland. So there
Yes.
needs to be some sort of mechanism, I guess, that that would change the hands of the land. Like you know if I was to pass away, I don't know how many people in my life would understand how to access my stuff. You know what I mean? It'd be
Yes.
reality.
Yeah.
I think the center is the good place to explore some issue the human being facing. Um, that's like it's like a lab to for human being to try something new, and you
Right.
can try in reality society something like
Mm.
you mentioned. Yeah,
Yeah, it's true.
and yeah, I think the virtual world is flexible because you can change. Just like if you own a land, you can change it
Mm.
very quickly the content on the land, and
Yeah.
also for the whole community, we can make the consensus rule to follow.
Hmm.
So if it doesn't make sense, we can change it, and yeah, we can vote. So I think the direction of the to let the Decentraland to be a DAO is a good way.
Mm.
But yeah, but for now it's very it's in early stage to say how we can run the Decentraland very good.
Yeah, it's
And
true.
I think we should bring more idea and more the smart buy into the Decentraland, and more people. I think it's better
Hmm. Hmm.
to build a true a virtual human society, because just like if Decentraland just can be a very the just a minority things, no, not many people play it and or participate.
Right.
I think it's not a good example to explore
Yeah,
the, the deeper the feature. I mean the issues in human being. Yeah.
it's true. We'd have to have more representation of all the different parts of society in order to
Yeah, yeah,
in order to really represent what it's supposed to look like. If we're going to make a change in society, because I really do look at Decentraland in that aspect of, like, we if we did this right 10 years down the road, this experiment, Decentraland, could change the way we look at how society runs and should be run. You know,
yeah,
if you could
yeah,
have the right representation, then
yeah,
you could have an example about what it should
yeah,
look like. We got a lot of protests going on. I think you guys got a lot of protests going on over there as well.
Mm.
And sometimes I question, is that the best way? Because coming from where I come from is we do crime like that. Not that I do that anymore, but when I grow up, yeah, definitely, you know. And you know, you don't stand out there in front of, you know, the people that are trying to oppress you. You don't just get out in front of them because you know that they gonna make their own decisions. So if you're standing in front of the gun and saying X, you know, this and that, you're giving yourself up to that person's decision making. Okay, I either want to shoot or don't shoot. You know, so you know, I wonder sometimes if just protesting is the best way, or maybe having this kind of dialogue, you know, talking about what's better for human society, and then, you know, changing the mentality of the people. I think that's maybe more efficient than going out in the streets and yelling 5-15 words at a time, you know?
Yeah, I agree. I think the valuable things for Decentraland is like, I think for the first time to bring all the human beings, no matter where you come from, together to build a war, build a society together. I think it is good for to just like to understand just like each other, and no matter where you come from, and because in reality side we don't we still had the country border, and we still just like was is I mean still to our the land, I mean the true land.
Yeah.
So yeah, but in this central land, just like we can come together, and no matter where you come from, and we can talk about some idea, share about your painting, and I think it's good for human being to understand ourselves. I think the most difficult for human being is to understand ourselves, just like who we are, and why I'm here, and why just like why I'm different to others, and or what my value to this society. I think it's good to to do something like that for Decentraland. So yeah, of course, in for now, for this stage, this Decentraland is faced some technology limitation. That's like the actor in Decentraland cannot do much, not much the action like hug each other and shake hands and smile at you, and also yeah, it means still very early. And even for now, the Chinese access to Decentraland cannot see people from the of the side of the another the side of the others, the side of the earth, the other side of the earth. That's like I assess that I cannot see you in the chat.
You're saying that, yeah. I think that we're in the early stages, but one of the reasons why I've been like really wanting to communicate with you guys is because I know that I've never really spent much time communicating with somebody that lives in China. Like, yes, Chinese people that live here and that are from China and live here, but never somebody that lives in China and operates in China, you know? And so to me, it's very interesting and very important to me to have these dialogues, to understand that we, you know, maybe have some of the same views, you know, because a government is a government. You know what that is. You know what I mean? Like a government is just, it's never, almost never representative of what people are actually thinking, you know? But the power that it would take to change that, and then whether if you changed it, would you be representative of what the people are thinking again? You know, I question that sometimes. So just being able to have an open conversation like this, and then maybe in the future start being able to make decisions with, you know, other people from other, you know, all over, to me is very appealing. You know, I value my relationships with Maddie from Australia, you guys, and HP from France, and you know, Sam is from, you know, Spain, and a lot of the guys are from Spain, Argentina. you know, it's important to be able to talk to these many people and see where, you know, where our views are, and how not that different they are. We really are human, you know. So that's, to me, has been the interesting, like the thought experiment that Decentraland is like, you know, how close are we really? You know, what's really bringing us apart? You know, is it just, you know, the distance and the fact that we're not able to communicate as much, and you know, because, you know, power is power, you know, so power is gonna always have like a biased opinion. You know, power wants to continue to be in power, you know, but people, you know, they generally have very similar values. They want to continue to see their people grow and get better and smarter, you know, and they want to be able to, you know, to be free to think the larger thought, you know, and like you can talk about one way or the other, but just being free to think and being free to voice your opinion, I think that most people want that. So if we can reflect that somehow in Decentraland, then I think that we're finding the real value. Excuse me. You know.
I think this is, and also I think improve the accessibility of Decentraland is important too. Like, like we cannot type any Chinese or other language in Decentraland, so it is not really accessible to people in other countries. Maybe they cannot understand English, but I think this is important, and also maybe for people with disability, so they may not able to access it. So I think I learned something about accessibility. So in a website, they can have some audio or some for people with maybe eye disability or hearing problem. So I think it is important for them to also access to Decentraland too, not only for people like us, but people with disability. So
yeah, that's true. We're gonna have to have things built, like APIs built, that would, you know, let somebody that's blind, let's say, be able to hear, you know, and then somebody that's deaf be able to type in the language that they're native to and still be able to communicate with all the other people. I think that's going to be something that we're going to have to build, you know, if we're going to correctly do this, you know.
We have many things in the physical world for people to access to the bus, to access to the building, but I think for virtual, how we can think about this for accessibility, it is really important too, I think.
Right. No, you're right. 100%. That's great. Hey guys, I'm not going to hold you for too long. I really appreciate this whole conversation. Again, I'd like to keep talking with you guys often, because I think that our conversations are really important to Decentraland. Like I said, the time zone is so crazy because we're 12 hours apart. So, you know, out my way, it's 9 in the morning now. On you guys' side, it's 9 at night. We'll find time for sure. I will always open. I'll wake up in the middle of the night, whatever it takes. But I think that continuing our conversations is going to be big. So we can kind of show people what the potential is, you know, for connection of society in general, you know. So I appreciate you guys for coming by and continuing to keep the conversation open. One thing I will ask is, if you guys get a chance, can you put another one of those the QR codes for the Decentraland WeChat? Because a lot of people had asked me about that, and I tried to tag as many people as possible in it. But if we could just do that again, that would be great.
Sure.
Yeah, no problem.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah,
All right,
thank you.
Of course, man. Thanks so much. I appreciate y'all, and you know, I'll be in contact tomorrow or something, you know.
So yeah, let's do, I mean, this discussion monthly or bi-weekly.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, I think it just like you mentioned, it's good to build a connection between the Chinese speaking and English speaking people.
Absolutely. All right, thanks a lot, guys. Again, always a pleasure talking to you guys. Awesome. And I'll be putting this up as a video, so I'll send you guys the link to the video sometime soon. And you know where to get the videos as well, so you can definitely put it on your platforms and stuff. All right, guys. Thanks so much. Appreciate you.
Thank you. Have a good day.
you.
Thank you.
Bye.